I was always that kid who, when you asked, "Do you play any sports?" would rattle off a long list: ballet, soccer, swim, you name it. But the truth is, I wasn't necessarily athletic. In soccer, I'd be placed in every position, and my coach eventually landed on a role for me: goalie. Not because I had some hidden talent, but because I discovered a unique technique that made it impossible for the 4-foot U8 kids to score a goal against me. At 8 years old, I was taller than most of the players, really because most of them were boys. So when it came to the goal, it wasn't too hard to make myself a human wall. My go-to move? The hockey stop starfish. Whenever a ball came near me, I dropped my knees with my arms splayed out, and somehow the ball never got through. But the truth was, I wasn't playing soccer the right way because I was scared. Scared of getting hurt. Scared of embarrassing myself if I missed a kick or hit my face against the goalpost. Over time, as the players and the nets got bigger, the hockey stop starfish became a joke. So I did what I knew best. I quit and found a new sport. At my elementary school, all my friends either played lacrosse or softball, and at that age, your sport becomes your identity. And it was all my friends talked about or wanted to play at recess. In an attempt to avoid the horrors of rec league soccer, I decided to join softball over lacrosse. Because, let's be honest, having a solid ball thrown at my face with nothing but a pair of glasses to protect me seemed far too dangerous. But as you can imagine, I didn't exactly excel at softball. I joined late, so I had some catching up to do. I spent extra time practicing with my coach and his daughter, and soon I was good at catching, just like I had been in soccer as a goalie. But when it came to hitting, that was a different story. I couldn't hit the ball. No matter how many pitches I faced, every time I stood at the plate, I froze. My eyes closed, waiting for the ball to crash into the catcher's mitt. And instead of confronting my fear, I started making my striking zone nearly impossible. I crouched way too low and stood as close to the plate as I could. Sure, I got walked a lot, but I was avoiding the risk of failure, and I felt like I was cheating the system. But one day in practice, after another round of failed attempts, my coach said something that stuck with me. "Olivia, it's not about your technique. It's not about how fast I pitched the ball to you. It's about your confidence. If you're not confident, you will never hit the ball." That night, I walked home from practice feeling frustrated. But as much as I hated it, his words made sense. My lack of confidence was holding me back. I wasn't playing at my full potential because I was afraid of failing. It wasn't about missing the ball. It was about the fear of failure in front of others. It was the same feeling I had when I had to present my tree frog project to the class in 4th grade, and I saw 2 girls whispering in the back and laughing. That moment sent me into a spiral of self-doubt. I stuttered through my whole presentation and rushed to finish it early. But what I realized was that I wasn't just lacking confidence in sports. I had been allowing outside judgments in my own fear to compromise it everywhere. At softball practice, one of the coach's daughters told me that I was the last pick for the team. The process was informal, happening in some coach's dining room, and so of course, their daughters eavesdropped. Being the new kid meant joining a group of tight-knit friends who had their inside jokes and comfort with each other. And so when I stood at the plate, all eyes on me, I felt like I was back in that 4th grade science class again, being laughed at. It wasn't that I wasn't a confident girl. It was that when I found myself in an environment where I didn't feel respected or accepted, my confidence was compromised. So think about a time when your confidence was compromised. Maybe there's a face in the crowd that made you feel intimidated, or a new environment that made you nervous, or a new skill that seemed impossible to master. Now, think about a time when you felt like your uncompromised self. Was there something about the people, the place, or the situation that made you feel at ease and allowed you to be exactly who you are? Over the years, building my confidence has been a process. I've learned to recognize when I no longer feel self-assured or passionate. Whenever I don't feel confident about something, I try to slow down and understand what's really going on. Sometimes it's an external factor, like a large group of people or a challenging situation. Other times, it's my own internal fear of making a mistake. So the key is this: if you can't avoid the elements that threaten your confidence, you can at least control your perspective on them. For instance, if those girls didn't respect me, why should I respect what they thought about me? If I have the courage to stand up here and tell a story of mine to my entire school, why should I take this special moment away from myself because I'm afraid of what you all might think of it? Confidence isn't about being perfect or never feeling afraid. It's about having the courage to face those things that make you nervous, uncertain, or self-conscious. It's about recognizing when your sense of self is compromised and taking the time to understand why. And most importantly, it's about choosing to use those moments for your own growth and not as things to sulk over. We are all confident people. Even the quietest person in this chapel has the ability to radiate confidence. So just throw yourself out there in those uncomfortable situations that compromise your ability to perform at 100%. So next time your club has to give a chapel announcement, take it. If the music department asks you to perform in chapel, do it. The Hugh Camp Cup competition in the spring, audition just for the experience of speaking in front of a smaller crowd. Because if you can practice overcoming your confidence compromisers in low-stakes situations, you will live your life all the more freely. Thank you.